Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. What was that? Oh boy. Nearly 4 weeks removed from the finale of Dream Car Championship Plus. The Challenge Series is returned. Yep. A little bit of rust. Bear with me here. The Challenge Series has returned. Lots of things have transpired in the off season. A couple of mini stories gave a few details and insights into some of the more major events out of the series, like involving the characters but not involving the series itself. I should say the organization itself. Honoka getting a rematch with her own idol, and that going out of, like, just going crazy. And a training session for Mercury Racing that also went crazy. But the in-universe off month has ended. The break for us viewers was not meant to also be a month, but it's kind of ended up being pretty close to that, simply because it's impossible to record on days where we need the air conditioner on, which is any day where the temperature is above 81 degrees. It also requires, like, me not talking to anybody else at the time, like friends on PlayStation, or also requires like an hour and a half or two of no interruptions from other people, like my mother. That's not even a guarantee, but it's certainly more likely now than it has been for the last handful of days. So, without further ado, let's head into the first race of the second half of Season 1 here in the Challenge Series. Alright folks, we have arrived for the first race of the second half here in the Challenge Series, and it's it's pretty much right where we left off. More business, pretty much business as usual here at this opening round. There's not a whole lot of new stuff to cover here. Most of these cars and drivers are pretty much as they were the last time we saw them. Mercury Racing still has going on, where the POV driver at the moment is Kotori Minami in her Alpha 8C, entirely unchanged from the last time we saw it. Have to go up the field a pretty good ways to actually find the main, like, adjustment of any sort in anybody here. And yeah, here it is. Gonna actually have to pause for this one to really give a full indication as to what this is. This is Ichiri Kawashiro's new car. A certain Challenger driver whose name we don't really like to use in the Challenge series at the moment. Fear of legal action more than anything. And just because we don't really like to talk about psychopaths, too much. We already have to deal with one or two right now as is. But that person, when they were hauled off to jail, their Challenger, the absolute mess of twisted metal that it was, got taken to a scrapyard. And Nitori, who usually visits that scrapyard to get salvage parts on the cheap, she can tinker with them and attempt to learn how to, better engineer with modern earthly technology, was informed that this, like, really exclusive, like, race car looking thing ended up in there, and Midori obviously knew what that car was, and she took full advantage. So she basically purchased the remains of that Challenger and fixed it up into the dark green, or the dark green beast that you see here. And this dark green beast is currently attempting to pass me, and it seems like it actually will just straight up do that. It has quite a bit of horsepower, as you can probably imagine from being an old muscle car. That's about all they usually have going for them. Let's get back to our focus here. 3 wide. This isn't really a place you normally go 3 wide, but it all worked. There was no contact. It is a traffic jam through the kink. I just lost a ton of positions from all of that. Here, from what she told me, Nidori claims she must have spent probably about 2/3 of her off time, like the month off, just attempting to get this Challenger back into racing shape after it was absolutely dilapidated at the hands of its previous owner. Gears are a bit short. Probably just a kink she's gonna have to iron out later, as Kotori sends it on her Mercury teammate, Nico. And not even all-wheel drive can help Nico there. She just got absolutely stunned by Kotori's arrival onto the inside of Kingsley. And up ahead, oh boy! Kochiya just about collected Minami with her half spin in her RX-8. It's probably still one of my favorite looking cars in the series. The fact that it's an Itachi livery withstanding. Kotori is already up into P5, and now she's basically entered the battle of the real people. As Fidel Fabian, Jake Scarborough, Ty McIntosh, and Thrasher, all actual friends of mine here on PlayStation, make up the top 4 ahead. McIntosh and Thrasher probably a little bit off-centered after the last time they were near each other on the track. Thrasher forges his way ahead of Super B, and Kotori follows. Kotori may now follow Thrasher ahead of himself? Where was I going with that syntax? Not much real estate given, but Kotori didn't need much. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, basically Jake now has a Herbie replica with a different number as his lower division car. So yeah, it's literally just Herbie, but basically the 53 is flipped around to be 35. Apparently his number would be 53 if not for Nidori taking it first, and that can all be, that can be traced back to Herbie itself. And I thought me and Hot Wheels were a weird hyperfixation. It's a huge run out of the last turn, nets Kotori the race lead as we just begin the final lap. Fidel was running the inside like he had some plans to try and clap back, but he did not. Oh my god, that first gear is so lengthy. The other Mercury drivers are somewhat stagnating here, including myself. I've probably done worse than stagnate, to be honest. I've plummeted. I started 5th, as a reminder, and I may not even finish in the top 10, if my teammates have anything to say about it. Wow, that gear's even longer. Tano wants to move on Drinkwater, but Drinkwater can brake so much later, and that car basically built to take medium speed corners above all else. Honoka's caught Nitori. She's still trying to figure out, get her feet wet when it comes to driving that car, so... But I feel like once she gets some of the kinks ironed out, that thing will be terrifying, almost as much as it was when the other person was in it. And Thrasher wants P2 from Fidel. He's gonna have basically 2 more chances to take it. Fidel has cut Thrasher off, so there will be no overtake attempt from him into the chicane, and he doesn't have a run out of that chicane, so he will not be taking second. As Kotori manages to preemptively establish that Mercury has not gone anywhere, she grabs the one at the Nürburgring. Fidel and Thrasher join her on the podium. He's basically followed by an entourage of real-life people. And then a truck, who manages to finish sixth. Kochia must have had more misfortunes throughout the race. She ends up with last, starting in P6 behind me. And that'll do it for race 1. But now, as usual, we got 4 more, so let's head off to the next one, I suppose. We're here for the second round of the episode, and we are running along with Melissa Weiss in her Lancia Stratos. It is, there's certainly a bit more to unpack here in this round. It is a double class race, hence why the POV car isn't starting dead last, but starting 12th. Mid-engine moment, so she heads through turn 2. The first thing to report, my dad's Firebird finally returns after being worked on. I don't remember what he told me was wrong with it, but it's gotten a redesign, it's gotten a rework as far as the car build. You can see it's got wider rear tires for additional traction. And the other thing of note is the new driver running in the 600 category. This is Lily White, a German driver who is mostly known for their entourages in the Touristfahrten events at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. In other words, basically when they let random people take their own cars or rental cars onto the Nürburgring for a lap, basically at like highway speeds. You see plenty of people emulating those events on like Assetto Corsa, sometimes even on this game for that matter. At those Touristfahrten events, she's also running a car whose livery is heavily inspired by the Cup cars that run the Nürburgring Nordschleife, like TCR, TC1, such. Like basically a privateer, like bottom of the barrel touring car, Volkswagen Polo. Ironically, the other Polo, Honda Koizumi, is behind her on the starting grid. And as a matter of fact, there's like 4 consecutive Volkswagens here, all started in a row. But as you can also see, her car is decorated heavily with suicide prevention and mental health awareness regalia, from Fight the Stigma, hashtag It's Okay to Talk, the You Got This movement, the was it Mental Health Warrior, I think, is on their bumper stickers? Yeah, something like that. And the personal sponsor AVAX, which, if I remember right, she told me is a printing company that she used to work for before she, well, went like semi-pro in motorsports. But because she's still on good terms with the owner of the company, they agreed to sponsor her in her endeavors. Nico had a very subpar run at the first round, but she's attempting to make up for that here. She started on pole, and she's attempting to make good on her escape plan. Kotori started second, is currently trying to fend off being further overtaken. Weiss is already looking for another position, but I do believe that in the time spent talking, we missed an event. She got some snap oversteer and did a sick 360 to recover the car heading down the hill. But before we continue with that, let's address the other elephants in the room. Who's below 12th? The new category, the 500 class. It's a class consisting of, I believe, 19 new vehicles. Starting with Kevin Bagstrom and his AMT Energy Star BMW i3 in the lead. Taylor Lynn with basically just a slower version of their normal Fiat and the 500 Lounge model. Shoji with a Fit Hybrid. Get to them in a second. Alice Carson with a Honda S800 race car replica. Umi with the Daihatsu Copen. And then the 3 debuting drivers that are new from this category alone. We'll start from the bottom here. Chelsea West. Like I said, no guarantee that I won't be interrupted anyway. But it was brief, so we move on. Attentive viewers will remember Chelsea West as a contestant in the Twisted Invitationals in the Unhinged era. They drove a Jeep Wrangler there. Here, interestingly went with the Willys Jeep. I don't know how you managed to find that, but never thought to yourself to just find like a Wrangler or an old Cherokee and run it in 600 or something. I really don't follow, I must be honest. Breaking the fourth wall because it's the only Jeep in the game. Where's the damn Trackhawk? Or something. Like, there are performance Jeeps. There are Jeeps in racing games. Even, like, The Crew has a SRT8 Cherokee in it. Why isn't there a Jeep here? Like a modern Jeep. I mean, we're looking at a Jeep, but this Jeep is old enough to be my grandma, so... Actually, it's older than my grandma, for that matter. So, there you have it. But, you know, she's driving that. Yukiko Takuchi is part of Thrasher's group, and this is apparently a former idol, because we needed more of those in the challenge series. Idol slash model, though, being the main difference. The likes of Muse never really got that far. Being school idols, that I think would be kind of a little bit not uncharacteristic. That would be kind of a little bit uncouth. Is that the word I'm looking for? There's a word. Basically, the idea of high schoolers being magazine models just doesn't really work. There are separate magazines for school idols, though, from what I understand. I think, actually, some of the Mercury Racing cars are sponsored by, I think it's like GES magazine or something. Anywho, she is a former idol, now turned street racer, and they like the cutesy little K cars, like the Suzuki Cappuccino. And then AJ Unleaded, probably the most unusual driver of the three added, which is kind of saying a lot because we have an old idol and a person who literally won't be serviced by insurance companies because of how many Jeeps they've gone through in the last 5 years. AJ Unleaded is another friend of mine who runs a racing league. He's the reason that I even know who Jake and Tyler and Fidel are. And Kim, to a certain extent, but still, you know, still is the reason. He is also a graphic designer, so I expect his liveries to be, if nothing else, very flashy, as he's sponsored by SimLeaguePro.com, the website that we use to track points in ARC. As we pick back up with our primary target here, I've wasted several minutes talking about nothing. Not nothing, this is important stuff, but you know, not the race. Why are the crickets there so loud? Weiss has invaded the Volkswagen Group. She would now become a Lamborghini. Ahead of the new driver. Another snap, but she manages to keep this one from going 180. More snap oversteer. Barely manages to keep that thing under control. This car is just being a diva right now. Huh. Oh, listen to that engine. This thing ain't too fast. I mean, none of these are very fast. I don't think there's a single car in this category that'll be hitting 100 miles an hour here at Laguna Seca, but that one's even slower than everything else. Weiss has overtaken Hanamura. Her final target is Nico, and she's got, well, basically the corkscrew or the last corner to get the pass done. And she's got the headlights of distraction up. They worked! That's a pretty rare moment of vulnerability from Nico. She basically just got intimidated by headlights. And she's just choked away the win at the corkscrew. But not to be outdone, Melissa Weiss in her Stratos is all over the road. She manages to get it actually, to work to the last turn. And following that, the last second turn of events, Melissa Weiss will grab the victory at Laguna Seca. Nico probably punching the air right now. The debuting Tour Spartan driver claims fourth. I see those new upgrades have not gotten you too far, have they, Dan? And Kevin wins the lower division race in the 500 class. AJ Unleaded, who like Thrasher doesn't like to use his real name on the leaderboard, so he's gone with a nickname as the last name. Thrasher's real name isn't Thrasher. AJ's real name is not Unleaded. And Gemini's real name is not Gemini. The other two debuting drivers, they really didn't fare all too well. They're taking up the bottom two places on the grid. Anyway, on to the next round. We're here for race 3 here in the first episode of the second half. And already you can see one of the debuting drivers in this episode. Kodokuno Doshaburi, a member of her school's drama club and also a member of her school's idol study club. So another former idol. And we need more of those. Like, seriously, there's 13 of them now. We have all of Muse, Rise, Barbara, and then now 2 more have debuted in this episode. We just had Yukiko Takeuchi debut. She's a former idol and magazine model. And now we have Kodo Kuno here, or Kodo for short, as I've been told. Who is a school idol, just like Muse were. Apparently she had a big falling out with the other members of said idol club, idol study club apparently it's actually called, and has not spoken to them. That was just shy of a year ago. She's since graduated high school, tried going solo in the idol business, but just kind of was like, I don't really feel like it. So now she's here. Her background in driving is more of a street racer, and apparently, if I check my commentary notes here, left behind by Gina on this driver. Why is this talking about old American furniture? What? Why are we talking about 18th century silver? Why is there an Antiques Roadshow handbook down here? Hang on. Is this it? Nope, that's a crossword book. What is Gina doing in here? Here we go. She's here out of a personal recommendation from Rise. As Rise and her had the same manager for the 4 or 5 months that Kodo was meant to be a pro idol. And also after they had a street race on this very same expressway, albeit more near the central clockwise layout of Tokyo Expressway than here, where Kodo absolutely just ran away with the victory on Rise. And she was like, okay, we need to get you in the challenge series because you are fast. And maybe you'll be a challenge for Mercury. Maybe you'll end up joining them. Who knows? Honestly, if she's a fellow school idol, like Muse was, maybe my job's in danger. Anywho, on to the other debuting driver. Satoshi Rollins, who is under the same radio station as Veronica, except he runs the morning segment called Morning Star, rather than the afternoon and midnight segments that Veronica does. He was born in Indianapolis. He's basically moved to Japan roughly at the same time that Katsuragi did, and they both got jobs on the same radio station, the Fuse 94.7. However, upon meeting Katsuragi here in the Challenge Series, Satoshi Rollins, born Samuel Rollins in Indianapolis, has equal parts camaraderie and spite towards Veronica because, well, it's like, alright, I'm sick, I'm racing with a coworker. Also, that coworker's popularity is putting my job security at a high risk. Because Veronica's popularity and basically magnetic personality attracts a decent number of viewers to the station that don't even care for the music and just listen because they like the DJ. Rollins, while he may have that smooth jazz voice that seems perfect for running a radio station, a jazz station segment, he doesn't quite have that amount of magnetism. And Rollins believes that a big reason for this is because he knows that Veronica is a street racer by night. And so he's decided he's going to import his incredibly heavily dressed up, like body kit C7 Corvette over from Indianapolis here to drive in the Challenge Series. Ignore the sponsorship, he has no associations with McDonald's, but I do really like this paint job. Also, it's a downpour, ladies and gentlemen. As I attempt to get the camera back on Kodo, she doesn't seem terribly fazed by it, as you can literally like hear the raindrops just pelting this windshield. She's already up to P2, and we're only through one straightaway of the event. The other thing of note here, Nico debuting in a Mark III Supra, so she is now the only driver in the entire series, at the moment, who is able to run in every category. She has a car in 500, she has a car for 600, the 2000 GT we just saw. She has her Yaris in 640, and she has her Viper in 720. And now she can run the Supra for 680. Delivery was apparently thrown together last minute, so that's why it's kind of basic. It's just silver with a pink stripe across the middle. Carbon hood, so at least there's something going on there, but not a whole lot. Kind of looks more like Natsuki Narashi would drive this than Nico, but I digress. as we get on with the race. Finally, all the informative talking has concluded. Yeah, this downpour, apparently Kodo just doesn't give a fuck. Just doesn't care. She's hitting these corners at top speed anyway. Look at the cornering speed difference. 111 through there, Nico's hitting 94. Oh right, as we watch a huge correction from Garrison, he's made a major update to his car's design. This is to coincide with Black Stallion Motorsports. In the off-season, good buddy Thrasher opened his own team. And you can see it somewhere on his car? Question mark? Oh, it's on the windshield, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Hang on. There it is. Yeah, it's the windshield banner. God, just look at this. The rain is kicking back up off the... This is a picture right here. Like... Just the amount of rain coming down, it looks like we're in a sauna. Anyway. The game likes to crash if I go in the photo mode in the middle of a replay, so let's not risk that. This is Thrasher's new team, Black Stallion Motorsports. He has signed a plethora of drivers to it during the off-season, including John Garrison, obviously, hence the new livery, to kind of match the Black Stallion colors, or basically just match Thrasher's colors, let's be honest. And also he's got Axel Valentine on the team. I totally failed to look at his car during the race where he was in it, first round, because I kind of forgot. I have a lot of things to keep track of, a lot of things to go over. A lot of things changed during the off-season, and some of them are kind of slipping my mind. Tiny bit. You get a bit of a Corvette duel here. I didn't even think about that. But, modern versus classic. Also surprising that a C7 Corvette's even allowed to run at 680. What did he nerf that car down to get it to run this slow? Considering our other C7 runs 720. But, yeah, Valentine's also in it. He's apparently signed other drivers that he will discover later on. It appears as though the comfort tires are faring a lot better than the sports tires. Hence why Nico is comfortably running second place. Garrison would probably be doing better if he were in a newer car. But there's not a whole lot of grip to go around. Nettery is also on comfort tires, but she's been stuck in so much traffic. What the hell is going on? That was weird. Meanwhile, Doshavuri is on the wet tires, so she was more than prepared for this. Just suddenly water. It literally sounds like somebody is punching a Tupperware lid. Just keeps her cool as her car attempts to end her existence going down the front straight. Suddenly hydroplaning, but she didn't even think twice. Oh, Gemini is also on comfort soft tires. He will probably be faring well too. The amount of kick-up water coming off of Rollins' car there as he exited the tunnel. Garrison forced it with no fear. He's hitting 170 in this thing that honestly looks like it's about to tip over. There's some people here that are trying to have a race these comfort drivers or comfort soft drivers are. For anybody that's not running top 4 right now though, and literally who's running 18th on the best tire or better tires, everybody on sport tires right now is just fighting to survive. I can't imagine being somebody with a rear-wheel drive car in this race. Someone like a... There's actually a lot of four-wheel drive in this race, but somebody like Thrasher, or like, I mean myself included, I'm gonna need a new pair of pants after this one. Because, oh my god, as you can see right there, these things are, well, they're driving through very big puddles, a very wet road, not fun. The Corvette battle continues between Rollins and Garrison. Rollins definitely making a splash on his debut, but not quite as much as Koto's making right now. Like an entire sector ahead of Nico and much more ahead of everybody else. Because I think they just watched the lights kick on. Yep. So it's gotten so dark from the clouds. The local time is like 6 p.m. Not even, it's 4:40. It's 4:40 local time here in Tokyo, and that's enough for the lights to come on because of how dark these rain clouds are. Oh, hydroplane, don't care. So much water being splashed up as these cars traverse these puddles. I don't know why the AI are doing this in the tunnel. There's no water here, my guy. I think Koto's driving can be legally classified as an art form right now. For a debuting rookie here in the Challenge Series, this is just a rain race masterclass from her right now. The heavy wet tires are probably helping, no doubt, but like, it's still a lot of rain on the track. Just because you have the better tires doesn't mean you can take anything away from the fact that these are conditions where we shouldn't even be racing right now. Like, this is just a straight up downpour. This is the kind of rain that like cancels school days and like halts public transportation. And Koto Kuno's just driving through it at top speed, not a singular care in the world. Again, I'm gonna enter the rain at 195. Oh, wow. Just unfazed. Just no soul, that hydroplane. Another one. Still doesn't care. This is just unbelievable. She's the whole straightaway ahead of second place. Everybody else, just watch them drive. Clearly, the art form of rain racing will probably do more to close off this race than my commentary could ever do. Where do we find these drivers? Another near spin, just no sold. The limit of traction is but just a mere suggestion to Kodo here. As I look back through my notes, which is not the Antiques Roadshow nor Movie Crosswords book, apparently, as hang on, what page is this again? Okay, well I've opened the wrong book again. 5 Across, Baseball VIPs. Anybody know that one? It's more oversteer from the 240Z driver. How does a girl like this get a souped up 240Z like this anyway? But yeah, as Doshaburi, the debuting driver, comes up to the line to take the victory at the expressway. Nice camera. She's just won this event by 1 minute 22 seconds over Nico. 1 minute 22 seconds. That's half a lap. As Nitari has finally managed to find her stride. Will she take P2 away from Nico? She gets to the inside, and pass is made, and the recording cuts out. The game literally would not wait for the rest of the pack, because Doshaburi was so far ahead that the post-race time limit ran out. So, statement of debut, I would say, has been achieved from Doshaburi. Rollins, no, can't overlook him either. He managed to be the top finishing driver on the sports hard tires. So in the battle for survival, he managed to win, more or less. Garrison, well, he had the right tires, but he doesn't exactly have a stable car by default. So, perhaps not a huge surprise, he falls to 16th behind many of the other sports tires cars. But, probably helped by all the downforce from his body kit, Satoshi Rollins manages 5th on clearly the wrong compound. So, hopefully, we move on now to race 4, where I won't have to worry about getting my microphone wet and getting shocked to death. That would be nice.